Hello, good evening. Welcome to the Man of aka the Black Panther of Nigeria, aka the Villain of Truth. I'm giving out time for those who like to join me today. Today's Sunday. This is evening. In Africa, this is 8:02, 2 minutes past 8 p.m. Or earlier when we were having the conversation on we're treating a subject on what do they call it? On the subject of how we are increasing as Africans and the rest of it, and what's going on in other countries and the rest of it. I had a call because I promised some of my people that I would. One of them is in UK. He told me he has an apartment in the estate and they needed some help. So I promised I would be there, and that's why I left at that particular time. As I was coming back, we made a decision also that I was going to be collaborating. Now, I'm yet to get response from one person by 9 p.m. But the first person, we had network the other time. And so the network issue also continued today. Well, I'm setting up some studio. I've been doing some studio work, and at some point, we are going to be having good way of relating on this episode. Hello, Rusty. Yeah, you're one of the people that made me just make a decision that I would definitely come back. Let me just come back. In fact, I wouldn't like the idea where I tell people that I'll be coming live and then I can't come back and tell you exactly the reasons. Even if perhaps something changed, I think it's important I still notify the people why I was unable to have the conversation we're supposed to have. I had a lot of people who had booked for what do they call it? To collaborate with me for us to go live. And I had to schedule everyone separately. And so right now, some of them are already believing that it will be next week or something like that. I'm like, no, I can't just call you now and tell you that, oh, one of them has actually failed due to network issues. Then let us going to come in. I don't want to do that. I just want everybody to work according to their time. He said, government expect me to believe that images from Neptune are real, which are billions of miles away, when I can't even get a good signal on my phone. In life, you see, I always tell people something that it is important we are being careful of what we actually listen to. And perhaps a lot of people lie. Some people may tell you the truth for a while. And once you believe someone who tells you the truth always, you might fall in a prey of being lied to or being deceived at some point. The idea is that everyone needs to be conscious and be at alert. There's a story they are going around and they talk about aliens and UFO. Please, for the people who are alive, we want to talk about some subjects. One of it has to do with rest. Let me drop this stuff. One of it has to do with how are we resting? How did our week go? What are the challenges we faced this week or we have faced in the past, and how are we able to handle it? Then we will touch about a subject. And this subject has to do with, we are going to talk about cheating in relationship one way or the other. And there's a reason. So let us just dance around all these subjects. Whenever we go through challenges, what are the methods that a lot of us use to figure out life? Whenever we get depressed, whenever we have issues going on in our life, what are the methods we use in giving ourselves rest or peace? Science lie. Maybe is there anyone on earth that does not sometimes exaggerate? I don't think there's any profession in life that does not exaggerate things. The idea of alien, I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. Somehow, I've been able to believe such stories of alien. Before we really go into cheating in relationship, talking about alien, let us focus first on how did the week go, or what have we experienced in the past that are bad experiences in the week, and how have we been able to navigate ourselves to get a solution to that problem. In case there's anyone who is going through any challenges in life and wants us to talk about, maybe we give out our opinion or any insight on it. So Rusty, do you believe in aliens? Do you believe on aliens, on the idea of aliens? For those of us who are joining to be part of this conversation, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to the channel. Rusty says, I have personal challenges and try to use mindfulness training and OBT learned therapy to deal with stuff. Not sure about aliens, bro. It's very funny. I wouldn't say it's funny. I'm kind of amazed when you use the word mindfulness training. I know for a fact that you would have a way you navigate things, but I wasn't thinking meditation might. Okay, you use the word mindfulness. You didn't use the word meditation, because there's difference between mindfulness and meditating. I thought be amazed if we are alone, but also not surprised if we are actually alone. You see, in the aspect of Africa, the way Africans sees things, due to our traditions and culture, the idea of aliens, we may not be able to wrap our end around it. Please help me with the meaning of CBT. Trust me, I understand that mindfulness is also a part of meditation. But you know, there are ways people dedicate meditative, and they say meditation is a meditative practice, and you have to stand, do this kind of stuff, do that kind of stuff. For me, one of my best parts of meditation is breathing techniques. I have different posture that I stay, and those posture, when I go into that stuff, it's always funny. That's when you see me I can come up with all kinds of new ideas. Okay, cognitive behavior therapy. I am a little naughty in the head. Cognitive behavior therapy. I've not really looked into that subject. I used to listen to Dr. Umar Johnson talk about certain things about therapy and the rest of it. You know, I've even forgotten some of the names he kind of used. But cognitive behavior therapy, okay. So mindfulness is just part of the things you use. And that's the reason why sometimes when you speak, I'm like, you cannot challenge Rusty because Rusty is kind of in a different world. If he wants to be serious, he can be serious, but at the same time, most likely you prefer that world than maybe the reality in a sense. Because reality can also be boring. Hmm. If you can't fathom other life outside Earth, I will counter that it would be hard to imagine the whole entire universe being empty. True. That's absolutely true. I think other part of universe, there are things that are going on there, and we have no information about those things. But I think also that it might not be our position to know everything. Maybe there are different sources of universe, maybe there are different sources of a lot of stuff. I'm trying to wait for people to kind of come in. Maybe we would dive into a particular subject, maybe one of these stuff that you touch on. Okay. For me, I would say this, that when I was coming live, I had a different mindset to discuss about what are people doing in today's world. Um, why do we make decisions that Sundays are days of rest, and it's almost like it's a global thing within different countries? And so the roles of rest in our life, like you talked about mindfulness and the rest of it, I think that's a very great way. And I want to ask a question. What do we think is missing today around community? There was a time whereby there was a power of community togetherness on Sundays. leaving the aspect of the religious service, social gathering, but there's something that has to do with togetherness of community. Is there anyone who still experience things like that? Because for me, I think it has been removed in most places in society. Hmm. So the Bible is responsible for Sunday rest, in a sense, because God rested on Sunday. Is it not funny when they say God rested on Sunday? The book of Genesis was written by Moses. When God was telling him the story, did God say that, let's just, today I'm not being spiritual on anything. I'm not being spiritual. I'm just like having a normal chat. I'm just playing with the way my normal brain would function. And it's like, did God tell Moses that, because Moses was about, if you look at the Bible, Moses was about maybe 20 or 40 generations, more than that, after the Bible talked about Genesis. So did God tell Moses, because Moses was the first person who wrote a particular part in the scripture, and he said he went to a mountain and God always come there to minister to him. Did we actually believe that God told Moses that, Moses, so I rested on the seventh day? God rested on the seventh day. Or do you think that Moses most likely will be thinking that I need to tell these people to relax every Sunday, because that Sunday is a day that, okay, regardless of your duty, whatever you have to do, at least there should be a time where we can have ceremony and unite as people. So he gave laws like you can't sell on Sunday, you can't do anything on Sabbath day. Sabbath day, nobody must work, nobody must sell. Because he came to a part when he said that if you are found selling things on Sunday, on the Sabbath day, you will be persecuted. Let us just look at it from a normal way of thinking as human being. Because logically, for me, I may assume, not looking at it from the scriptural, as I speak to you, there's Bible here. And I'm like, okay, God created heaven and earth. Almost 30 generations from then, we have Moses. Moses brought the people of the Israelites out of the land of Egypt after 430 years of slavery. And this particular law was not initiated in Egypt. But as time goes on, when he brought them out of Egypt, then the law began to take place. Rusty said Moses was thinking, and he says, one day I need a day off. I think he says, like, okay, I need a day people who can dedicate and let's just celebrate, enjoy ourselves, Probably understand the importance of community. And do not forget, Moses was someone who used to live in the palace with Pharaoh. And if you're living in Egypt, in Pharaoh, Sabbath days also, according to the Egyptian tablet, was one of the day they kind of used for sacrifice, rejoicing and do some ceremony and the rest of it. That's probably in the palace. I don't know if that's what the whole people observe. I think it's something that just happened in the palace. So maybe he was just using that particular day and saying, oh, let me just tell my people that this is what God says. Nobody should sell on Sunday. Everyone needs to relax. Because I would say that's my perception. That's how I think it. Because do you think that, let us ask ourselves, do you think that if God decides to talk to people and he wants to initiate conversation with you, there are certain details God might not ask you or God might not tell you? Because if God had to tell Moses that I rested on Sunday, there were things that God most likely did not tell Moses. Because if you have to tell Moses every details, then that means Moses would have written a lot of things till he died while he was writing. On the first day when I woke up, I moved around, I went to this so location and the rest of it. Yeah, you're right. Egyptian slaves got a day off from building the pyramids. Maybe, I don't know where the origins of it are, really, other than Bible stuff. Well, what I understand about, you can go back and you check about the Egyptian mystery and you are going to see a lot of things about history of the Egyptians. You can also study what we call about the Sumerian tablets. Sumerians have been existing for a very long time. And when it comes to the idea of Egypt, Egypt was already existing before Israelites. The idea of the pyramid was said that it was built by alien. You can believe it, we can argue it or not, but I don't think any of us can have evidence to that effect. And trust me, if you go, there's a man they call Billy Carlson. Billy Carlson talk about the idea of Billy Carlson talk about the idea of the Anunnakis. And if you listen to part of these stories that come from the Egypt and from the Sumerian tablets, these are people that are existing ancient. They are as ancient as the Egyptians. The story they had about Moses, or they said about Moses, was totally different. $6 billion world. Thanks for joining. It says that, why do we celebrate rest on Sunday when Jews, the original celebrants of the Sabbath rest from Friday evening to Saturday evening? Christians are not basing their day of rest on a biblical day, because the Sabbath day was actually Saturday. Rusty says that if aliens exist, bro, that could explain Bill Gates. That mofo looks like Roger. That alien thing from American Dad. Besides, doesn't the calendar week start with Sunday? $6 billion is hitting. Yeah. Jews follows Judaism. Jews they have their own cultures and traditions. They have their own traditions. Christians are people who just spiral up, and after the ascension of Jesus, they try to create their own thing, and they succeed. The Bible rested for the seventh day, which is why we rest on Sunday. So we are resting on the Lord. Sometimes we have to look at these things and we just ask ourselves, are these things actually true? A spirit, an entity. I think that something that does not exist in the physical space can only be at effects at any time. So the idea that someone without the flesh, now I'm speaking like a pagan, I'm speaking like someone who does not believe in anything. Someone who does not have a skin, who does not have, does not carry weight or levels, all he said, and if you remember that everything that God created, he created it with the words of his mouth, saying that, let there be light, and there was light. Let the darkness be separated from light. Let there be this, let there be that. So that simply means on Sunday, he didn't say anything. It was silence throughout on Sunday. He started talking from Monday, or from Monday till Saturday. And then he makes a decision that on Sunday he was not going to say anything. Because if you are building everything through the words of your mouth, and Sunday you decide to keep quiet. If I was Moses, I would have asked God, why didn't you talk on Sunday? What happened? Why were you silent on Sunday? What would have happened if you have created anything on Sunday? Six billion says that Christians rest on a day that is not technically biblical. Yeah. Rusty says pagan white boy wanna be rappers in UK use that word a lot. Sunday is wife went shopping and he had a break and enjoyed the silence. Now, the funny thing is this. If we take our time and look at, please, for those who can, if you're a chance and you want to trouble your head a little bit, go through the idea of Billy Carlson, and you're going to, they are subject on the Sumerian tablets, Egypt mystery, and the rest of it. And then you would see that the Ark of Covenant was actually taken away from Egypt. And there's a reason for it. There was this ancient structure they used to have, and I don't know how to explain it clearly, but one of those things was taken away from Egypt while they were living, but it belongs to the Egyptians. And it was a very powerful stuff. So you can go maybe later on Google and look about what do they call it? The Anunnakis. Anunnakis. The Anunnakis. The Anunnakis, there's a Sumerian tablet that has to do with these entities that were existing before. So when you read it and you read the Bible, they contradict each other. The story completely contradicted each other. It's like the same thing when you read Genesis and you read the lost book of the Bible that was actually written by Moses. Also, part of the things that were written by Moses, most of it would not make sense. Because in the lost book of the Bible, there was no serpent that tempted Eve. Serpent did not tempt Eve in the lost book of the Bible. And the lost book of the Bible had more information than what Genesis actually gave out. Some part of the lost book of the Bible explain things a little bit in more details that looks a little bit logical, like it's being comprehensive. You can comprehend it with your head. But the problem was that when they begin to talk about the devil, then everything starts looking somehow. The devil make everything look weird. The days were named according to 6 billion. It says the days were named after the classical planet of Hellenistic astrology in the order Sun, Helios, Moon, Saturn, Mars, Eris, Mercury, Hermes, Jupiter, Zeus, Venus. Yeah. Seems you're making some research. I understand part of these things you are saying. The 7-day week spread throughout the Roman Empire in the late antiquity. Rusty says, I believe God has a sense of humor. He made woman so men can incentive to get out of the house and decide to get a job. Now, if you read the lost book of the Bible, when you read the lost book of the Bible, you would realize also that Adam did not have one wife. Adam had 2 wives. You know, sometimes I just CC Motion 1998, welcome. Thanks for joining. We are just spending time, you know, rubbing our minds, not anything specific. I'm just speaking to my audience, you know, to keep ourselves busy. Rusty said, poor Adam. We are just rubbing minds today. Naturally, I could remember that in the olden days, we always sit and have conversation. While I was young, these are part of the things we do. But we are now in a technology age whereby we can have these conversations in different environments. And those who are available, we can just talk. Rusty says, poor Adam, God really punished him. The story was just funny. Like, let's question these things. The only way I am the creator of the whole world, let's just put it in that perspective. I am the creator of the whole world, and in the creating the garden and creating the universe, that simply means for God to be able to chase Adam and Eve from the Garden of Eden, that it simply means that he has already prepared a place knowing that they would even go out of that place. So it was like, okay, I would create an excuse. Let me put an apple there. The all-knowing God, who knows that they can eat from everything but that apple tree. No, you can't eat from that place. Don't eat from there. But that particular apple tree, I will plant it inside that same garden. And so if you eat that apple tree, then I will chase you away. Ah. Huh. 6 billion words says that my point is that we say that these things are biblical, but what we don't realize is that a lot of Christianity is based on paganism. I would appreciate if you can expatiate more on that. Rusty says, that is true, but certain things were done that way to please the people that God say that could say a lot about a tolerant religion. So he says God really holding those apples for himself. It's just like, how can you have children, people who you just create as a human being, and we are very limited to information, but as of human being, when our children are crawling, we take every object that we know that can actually hurt our children, we take them out of the house, we shift them to a particular environment that their hands will not be able to touch. Okay, I understand. Yes, okay, I see what you're trying to say. You're talking about the difference. And I want you to understand something, 6 billion word, that the Bible is just a name. The real name from the time of Moses, they call it scripture. Scripture end at Malachi. Malachi is where scripture ended. After Malachi, there was no other thing that was written. So the book of Matthew was just a testimony of other people, the disciples of Christ. These are the people that just started writing things, and when you kind of look into their stories, some of them are not really accurate. Like someone says this and another person says something else. Russell says, I know that he refers to, and the Christians were the dominant force. They forced the pagan ways because it was for the people. Like I was saying earlier, as a common human being, even as an animal, a chicken, a turkey, a dog knows that they have to prepare an environment for their children to be able to flourish. So more or less, why would God create the Garden of Eden and put a tree there, specifically a tree that has apple, and he says, don't eat the apple? He caused the snake, he caused the woman, he caused the man, but he didn't cause the apple. How did they do it? I think they do it like this. Is that how they do it? Exactly my point, 6 billion word, is that we should question everything and not accept things as gospel truths. Rusty said it. He says a dominant force could impose whatever it wanted, but it chose to let the people have their day. Give them some rest so they don't, get tired, or one day they just want to, come back and bite. Let's find a day for them. Let them just relax. Because trust me, when you look at it from the biblical side or from the scripture area, you would realize that when they work from Monday till Friday, they bring part of their meats, part of their sacrifice, to come sacrifice for Moses. And when they sacrifice it for Moses, Moses sacrificed it to God. So if you are bringing a bull, bringing a meat, bringing anything, Moses will sacrifice those things. It will kill them. Then it will burn those particular animals that have been killed, the ram, the sheep. And then it would eat that particular animal for at least 6 days. After 6 days, it would not eat that animal. they throw the rest. God did not allow him to eat it after 6 days. If you commit a sin, you want a redemption for something or want something or something like that, you have to bring a sheep every Friday, and then Moses will kill the sheep. But remember, Moses had 2 children. Remember, Moses had a wife. Remember, Moses' in-law who advised him on how to organize the people of the Israelites. You can remember that time when he came to pay him visit and told him, like, okay, you need to set up judges, you need to set up the cherubims, you need to set up different leaders. And then he came up with the idea of cherubims, seraphims, and the rest of it. You can remember all those things. So that means he already had a large family in a particular place, because Moses also had 2 wives. Moses had 2 wives. And so if he had 2 wives, we are discussing about religious perspective. I will come back to the, just keep me posted, Papi updates. I recognize you, but we are discussing something. Yeah. Rusty. So what do you think about India? And that's what Papi updates ask. And Rusty says they are full of Indian. I hope one day I'll be able to speak to Rusty on camera. Like, we can be on live and we can discuss. And then we will just rant throughout. I would just want to see your mind play in real time. In real time, I want to see how your mind plays in real time. But like I was saying earlier, the idea of them bringing that meat every Sunday, every Saturday, was for them to kill it and eat it. So after 6 days, they are not meant to eat such animals anymore. And trust me, why wouldn't they listen to Moses when he was the one who delivered them from the land of Egypt? And in the story of the tablets, there were things that actually happened from this Sumerian tablet. There were things that actually happened. Moses was using a particular force, according to what they say, to scare the people of the Israelites. And if those of us who have actually read the Bible would remember that God was just taking off people when they said, the people of the Israelites, there was a time the people of the Israelites said they want to talk to God. They want to see God that Moses was talking to. And you remember that Moses already had understanding about the Egyptian mystery. And so Moses began to, and God began to kill the people of the Israelites. Manna from above, that's a different story. But he was destroying the people, and people say, oh, Moses, we don't want to talk to God again. Be the one to go talk to the God. But these people never understood the Egyptian mystery very well. So it's kind of funny. Those are part of the things I question myself when I look into other books. I'm like, Rusty spoke to Pathi Update, and it says that beautiful country, beautiful people, not so happy with street food sometimes. Avoid water-based stuff at street vendors was always my advice. Rusty says, even today, we want to see God and question it. Yeah. There are many things about the scripture that can be questioned. The problem is that a lot of people don't want to ask questions, because asking a question It's a terrible thing. You don't question God. And that is the mentality they give to people, that we do not question God. But when you even read the Bible also, you realize that somebody did not even question God. There was an individual who fought with an angel. They call his name Jacob. Jacob wrestled with God. In the dream. You hear that story very well. Jacob was sleeping. Let us listen to that story. Jacob, after, at some point, I have a call. I need to. Yeah. So no, it wasn't that important call. My son is called Jacob. LOL. My others are called Ethan and Cody. Okay, you have. I thought you have daughters, Rusty. I thought they were daughters. Okay, my son is called Jacob. So, hello, my others are called Ethan and Cody. Okay. Now, don't worry about answering the call. That boggles my mind. How can you be a thinking human being and not question anything in life? Itaya me, 6 billion. 6 billion word. Okay. No, not me. 3 boys. Maybe another viewer. Okay. So, the story of Jacob was that there was a time Jacob was moving with his wives and his family, and Jacob lied down. He fell asleep when he asked them to go on a particular road, and he put a block on his head. So he lied down. And early, he slept there till the next morning. Let us assume there is no wild beast during that time. There are no tigers, no lion, no beast, and the rest of it. Let us leave that. Then while he was lying down, he had a dream. And in that dream, early in the morning, he saw an angel. And the angel was going, and he said, "You have to bless me." And then he held the garment of the angel, and they wrestled. So during that time, they already know wrestling. So they wrestled. I don't know, maybe Jacob knew about jiu-jitsu. We can't say. But they wrestled a lot. And at the end of the day, it seems as if Jacob kind of almost dominated the angel. And then the angel was like, okay. He broke the leg of Jacob. When he broke the leg of Jacob, Jacob still held him. And he says, "You must bless me." And the angel, can you remember that the same angels were the one who came during the time of Abraham in the daytime? But in the time of Jacob, they said the angels were in a haste. The angel was in a haste and he doesn't want the day to break to meet him there. So I was like, what is that angel looking for? What was the angel looking for? So he heard, and the angel broke his leg. And when Jacob woke up the next day, Jacob's leg was broken, and Jacob started using stick to walk. You people understand what I'm saying? Remember, during that time, angels came to tell Sarah and Abraham when they were passing by, and Abraham stopped them in the noontime. Angels stood by and blessed. They came to even eat in the house of Abraham. And when they spoke to Sarah that you are going to bear a child soon, when she was even laughing at the back, the angels realized she was laughing. And they said, "Don't you believe God? You would have a son for Abraham." So those angels that came, there were 3 angels according to the Bible. So why would Jacob be sleeping? The Bible didn't say he wrestled the angel physically. He went into sleep, and then they broke his leg, his physical leg, from a dream. Rusty says questioning things in life can lead to a long life of being in a constant state of confusion because everyone will give you different views and opinion. If I woke if I if I if I woke up with a broken leg, I would be pissed off. So this particular stuff, oh my God, they are kind of funny. Creed, thanks for joining. Rusty's asking, did Jacob's wife break his leg and she decided to blame it on God? But let's not forget, Adam was sleeping, and God removed rib out of him and created Eve. But when you read the last book of the Bible, you realize that Adam has 2 wives. So how many ribs did God remove from Adam? The real full story is that Adam had 2 wives. That's from the last book of the Bible. He had 2 wives. And then oh God. As I say, it wasn't me, honey. Must have been God. You have to blame it on God. And then the second one was organ removal. Wouldn't it have been better if God had just taken another dust and mold another person? Rather than dismantling and doing surgery on the life of Adam. He removed sleep, put him to sleep. That was the first person who experienced surgery. Adam was the first person. He removed his rib and used a rib to create a new being. But now when we discover he has 2 wives, how many ribs are removed? Because it's easy for you to count your ribs and say, oh, this is according to the Bible. That's why we have so ribs. Oh God. I would have insisted for my rib back and get rid of it. Because if you remember, according to Genesis, it's like he didn't ask God for anything. God just gave it to him and say, okay, I think it's not good for a man to be alone. Let me make him an helpmate. Now, that brings up another question. If God sees that it's not good for a man to be alone, I need to create an helpmate for him. Remembered that Adam was the person who named all the old animals. And the Bible says that all the animals were made male and female, male and female, male and female. All animals were male and female. So, wasn't God aware that creating Adam alone simply means that there was supposed to be a woman that should be created? I would have resisted my rib back and get rid of Eve. Okay. Rusty also said if he had taken more ribs from Adam, I guess he could have excited himself orally. So I'm told. Oh, you said I shouldn't read that loud. I thought you said read that. Oh, that's not against YouTube policy. That's not against YouTube policy. Yeah, we didn't have transvestite elephants or non-binary lions. So I felt like God should have been aware that Adam is supposed to have, have some time, and he should have his wife. Yeah, that's fine. So it's funny when you go and you start reading all these things, and it's so funny how people just hold on to these beliefs. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong, but I'm like, let us at least sometimes think. What we are saying right here is not like we are saying that, oh, it's true or it's a fault or it's false. We are just like, let's think about it. Is there a crime? Is there a crime for us to think about the subject? So it's really funny. I wouldn't say those stories sometimes they kind of sound pathetic, and I hope there's something after all this, if just for the sake of my children, but I am always in doubt. I always tell people that humans need to believe in something because it makes them have hope. And that's what I think religion is doing. It gives them hope. Ashes for ashes, dust to dust kind of says it all for me personally. True, true. Rusty, can we shift into the subject on cheating in relationship? Can we visit? Yeah. So I believe whatever put us here has a weird sense of humor. Can we talk about the cheating side of relationship? You quoted Malachi 2 verse 14. Now the debate kind of moves in a sense like cheating on someone. Some men have this perspective to say that men do not cheat on a woman, men exercise options. Is it true that it is only a woman that can cheat on a man? Creed is asking, is it almost Judgment Day? Who knows? No one knows. So some people say that men do not cheat on a woman, men exercise option. Now I want to ask a question. Is it possible for men not to cheat? Looking at it from a normal way of viewing things, is it possible for men not to cheat? I am led to believe a woman must submit to the man. In the African culture, according to Odua, there's an importance to it. You see, the Bible said something. Let us even look at it now from the biblical point that Eve, we don't know who is older, but Adam was existing before Eve, right? Abraham, who got married to Sarah, and the Bible said that Abraham was older than Sarah with 10 good years. Now, there's an importance since historical time that women are kind of hypogamy in nature. And part of it is like they look up to something. In fact, they want to be protected. And because they want to be protected, they make decisions to choose someone who is older than them until we get to this age where people say age is just a number. Maybe, I don't know. But women wants to choose men who are older than them. And according to the Odua culture, or according to the Odua, in our culture, Yoruba tribe, we are meant to believe that the idea is so that you can submit to someone because you already have elders and you respect elders. So as a woman, you need a leader. And for you to have a leader, you have to have someone who is elderly. And then you give that person the same respect you give to your parents. But you have to be careful who you choose. Age is just a number, bro. That number could be 10 years of life. True. So when we look at it, there are many reasons why it is important that men are a little bit older and the woman is supposed to accord. Because let us put it this way. If you are dating someone who is older than you as a man, it is rare for you to say that she's not according you with respect. You don't so much expect it. But when you're kind of older than a lady, there's a sense of you that you say, okay, I am with this person and I think this person is supposed to respect me. I don't understand that particular dynamics and how it works. But according to our own culture here, it's about women respecting the man, honoring the man a little bit. I use the word a little bit because when you use honor the man, women will scream and they'll say, oh, are you trying to enslave us? But I think that relationship always find its way to work until we get to this age right now where we say it doesn't matter. And trust me, there was a time that men are being polygamous in nature. Men are polygamous in nature, naturally. But because of society pressure, men make decisions to accord themselves to become a monogamous relationship, to build monogamous relationship. And it's very funny right now that the same fight that has gone on for us to be able to have a monogamous relationship, right now people are going into polygamy, polyamorous, and the rest of it. Creed says man is the provider. Now, women are going to debate that idea now because some women are making money. They would say, what a man can provide, I can provide it. In fact, I'm making more money than a man. What do I need his money for? But when men provide for women, men do not consider the idea that I am providing for my wife because he sees that as his responsibility. He thinks he's kind of built for that. In fact, men joyfully provide for their women and their family. Women want equality, bro. She can prove them. I don't understand that. In marriage, let us ask ourselves a question. Is it because in today's world it is the equality thing that has result for us to see things as cheating? Okay, women want equality, bro. She can prove, then provide. I'm trying to understand what's going on between Creed's statement and Rusty. I'm trying to look into your comments so I can make sense of it. Women want equality, but this equality has become problematic. Men do the family thing. That's what Creed is saying. Men do the family thing. Because it's our responsibility. Let's look at the sexual part of it. In general, woman wants equality, so calling the man the provider seems not equal enough to me. That's true. When we use the word provide, during those time, when we use the word provide, it's just about bringing the meats, hunting and the rest of it. I think that's where most of these things came from. But as time goes on, that we started using currency or money, and women can also work and earn money, not hunting, then it's like we all can provide. But the provider is back in old days. That's exactly what I'm saying. We have built a society right now that men and women can provide in a relationship. Some women even provide more than men. But let us look into the idea of the cheating. Yeah, hunter-gatherers sort of stuff. Yes, women weren't screaming for equality to go and tackle bears and lions back then, though. That's true. I think, in my opinion, I would say that men are kind of generous in certain sense. Men are generous that we become so generous to the extent that we have given so much that we have no value anymore as time goes on. Sorry to wifey, if you are reading LOL, I'm only messing around. Okay. She most likely might be live or she might just be watching. I came from a different cultural background, and in our culture today, we believe women should be submissive. And we still hold on to that. Submission is not enslavement. Submission is like giving respect to someone and allowing that person to lead the relationship. There was a statement I always read, and I said that your logical mind or your intelligence can take you far in life. There's a point whereby they say a statement and they say that you cannot beat a river into submission. You have to flow with the currents of the river. So when you are going into relationship, it is good for you to surrender. You have to surrender in love into that relationship. If you cannot surrender yourself to be submissive as a woman into a relationship, you most likely are saying that I don't trust the leadership of this person. And the question is, why would you engage yourself in a relationship where you can't surrender? Marriage is just like an ocean or like a river that you cannot beat a river into submission. The only way for you to swim in the sea is for you to flow with the current. Rusty says, I'm on board with equality rights up until the point where men are now calling themselves women to compete in women's sports. That's equality gone nuts. No pun intended. The African mindset does not believe in equality. We believe in duties, and we have our roles. We believe in roles, and we are one of the last people that still flourish in relationship, and this has been one of our tradition for a very long time. Rusty says, tell a Western girl to submit to you, and she would probably get to all fours. Seriously, trust me, I've experienced all those kind of stuff. When I speak, they say, oh, we can't submit. We have gone through a lot. We cannot submit to a man. Men are not trustworthy. We can't submit to a man. I like to question. When a man says this, I want to question the man. We are not saying you shouldn't. There's a part of me, and I know that part. That part also, I can see that part with Rusty. I can see that part with okay, the enlightened one is kind of spiritual in a sense. The enlightened one just flow with the spiritual sense. But what I can see when I talk to Rusty or when we are having conversations like this is we can deviate from a spiritual sense into a logical sense. We can come from a logical sense, we can go into the mindset of like a joker. And you can go into a serious conversation. When you are going into a relationship and you are having a mindset of, I am here to compete, I am here not to be run by, or I don't want a man to run over me, it's like you're going into that relationship being defensive. You are already being defensive. That simply means you don't trust the relationship. You are already being defensive. And then because you show that you see that, oh, every opportunity you can exploit to take out a man, you are using them, then most men now, when they want to go into a relationship, they are also being defensive. And then you hear a statement like a man is going to give you prenup before he gets married to you. It says, I have borderline personality disorder. You get a dozen types of me in one conversation. Uh-huh. It depends on how the conversation is going. That's where you kind of channel into. For me, I have a way I move into spiritual things, and then I go into logical things, and then I go into my real personality. My personality as a person is kind of, I don't take things that serious. I'm just like, I play with my thoughts a lot. But I can always fall into the spiritual side. When I fall into the spiritual side, you would think you're talking to a prophet. I will tell you things that I don't even know. When I go into the logical mind, yes, you're going to be able to have a good conversation with me. But when I come into my real self, like this conversation, I play with my thoughts. So when it comes to the idea of relationship, is there any, I don't even think there's a possibility of relationship working out anymore in certain areas in life. In certain areas in life. The idea of this cheating, some people say it is rampant. And when I did a study about the US, they said They said that the longest relationship, most long relationship in the Western world right now is 20 years in relationship with someone. And I'm like, where did we get it all wrong? Is it because of abundance? That's the reason why we, you know, play around and we just feel we can always switch. Maybe when you have options, too many options, you most likely would not be dedicated to one particular individual. Maybe, maybe that's true. Rusty says that I'm told DMT can take you on a spiritual journey. Absolutely. Creed says I have ADHD. ADHD, please. I something I've heard this guy, Dr. Omar Johnson, talk about ADHD, which is hyper, maybe something like hypersensitive or something like that. Then hyper something 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 something. Then it ends with the idea of disorder. And during his statement, he was always saying that someone you are just trying to react. It doesn't need medication. According to what Rusty was saying, DMT can take you on a spiritual journey. And that's true. Yeah. No, I'm actually talking about the recent, what do they call it? The recent research. And they didn't say that all. No, what they said is majority of relationship fails within the period of 20 years. Yes. Most marriages fail. Sometimes I ask myself, is it because we have too many options? That's why we have challenges like that? Failure of marriage. Or we don't value ourselves as humans anymore. Creed says marijuana is good. Marijuana is good in a sense, but you need discipline to take marijuana. Because marijuana is like when you take it, you need more to take for you to feel the same highness. And then if you're not careful, you can most likely become an addict. And you can't become an addict to marijuana that much, but what I can say is that when you take excessive marijuana, you most likely it does your productivity. Okay, Rusty, I agree with my point. Trust me, DMT is kind of a different thing. Part of the research or conversations I've listened to, it seems DMT experience is totally different. I could remember there was a time I take this marijuana in my life. When I used to take it, I had to run away from it. The first time I was having inspiration, I would close my eyes, but I'm just seeing a lot of stuff, talking and the rest of it. I think it amplifies, marijuana kind of amplifies exactly who you are. Some people say it's good for health, like Creed says, but along the line, if you're not very careful, the reason is for me, I think I have an addictive personality. I have an addictive personality. So my addictive personality simply means when I'm going for something, I just make sure I go for it. I'm so dedicated in whatever choice I make. So when I started taking marijuana, I had an addictive personality with marijuana, and it rubbed me the wrong way. I wasn't that productive. So, but the DMT experience is always a different one. Rusty says, I come off it and I end up sweating my teeth off, throwing up etc. when my sweat smells of weed when trying to give. Smell my armpit and get. Yeah. So I think that the idea of weed, there are certain people that weed are good for. Like this guy they call Joe Rogan, one of the number one podcasters in the world, Joe Rogan. I think certain individuals, part of the conversation he has had was weed or marijuana is good for certain individuals. The thing is, a lot of us wants to, I recently, according to Rusty says, I recently got addicted to scratch cards online. Spent $100 already. I am addicted to mobile games like Drive Zone. Spent over wow. Wow. 4,000 pounds in it in less than 6 months. Wow. 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 That's you're going to buy this my building. You buy my property like times 2 or times 3. Wow. He says, I don't like cocaine, but I love the smell of it, is what I would tell the judge if I ever get caught. Bro, your reaction just got tears in my eyes. Wow. Rusty is a low-key guy. Can I ask a question? I said I would even ask you guys a question. And trust me, I want to know. Even know why I do all these things other than addictive personality. Trust me. Rusty, I understand. I have addictive personality. When I'm writing subject, when I'm dedicated to something or I attach myself to something, Jesus Christ, you can't talk me out of it. And that's why I hate having issues with people. Because if I have an issue, legally, I wouldn't go commit a crime, but I don't care. I just want to go to the extreme. If I'm writing a book, I just keep writing. If I'm reading, I'm just reading and reading. I get tired. My body is broken, but I can't stop myself. If I'm writing, if I'm talking about the subject, this book, my wife gave me this book. It hasn't stayed for long. I started using it. It's not up to 2 weeks. This is where I write subject that I want to discuss. And the whole book is already filled up. Because when I start something, I can't stop. So what I try to do is not to engage myself with anything. Like when I took weed, oh God of mercy, every day and night, midnight, morning, early morning, afternoon, if I was just taking, like, oh God, no. So what I did was I actually reduced myself from participating in a lot of things. I don't watch football. I hate watching football because I know if I invest myself into watching football, I'm gone. I'm gone. So I was curious to ask a question. I know most podcasters do not ask this question, but I am curious to ask the question to Rusty and any other person who would like to. What are the things that attracted anyone to my channel for us to be able to start having this kind of conversation we are having. Rusty says the point. That's true. I have to be the best at it, even if that means killing myself, doing or losing all my. Man, I don't want to lose my. I don't want to lose my money. Oh, I think I have my own break. I have some break. When I think that I am going too far and I can't stop, I just kind of find a way to hold somewhere, and then I might give it some time and I can come back to it. But when I have a break, and I can have that break for a very long time, for maybe a period of a month or 2 months without engaging in that particular stuff, I rather not go back into it anymore. Says Scarface got nothing on me. If you show me a plate of the devil's white powder, I will look like a snowman in. Wow. But that's tough. I haven't touched any of all those ones. You are my elder on that one. I haven't touched any of those ones. In fact, when I hear people who are selling it, there were people who I experienced when I was at Lekki who were selling things like that, cocaine and the rest of it. I had to run away from it. I had to. I didn't want to engage myself with anything that has to do with it. All right. All right. Few people who have reached out to me said exactly the same thing. I heard you talking about your country and how you wanted it to be a better place. And okay, better. And I knew instantly you were someone who says what's on his mind and not what he thinks people want to hear. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for giving me that insight. You're the ninth person who said that. Ninth person who said that. Because sometimes there's, I feel blessed with the kind of people that I've been able to reach out within a period of time. Someone like a man who has a podcast, also they call him JT Coin Rings, meeting someone like the Enlightened One, someone like Rusty, Canary King, Adiola, Olubode Adiola. I've met a lot of people, King Scott TV on YouTube. I've met a lot of people. And in fact, it was so funny that part of the people that I have met, there are some who already have 20,000 subscribers. Over 20,000 subscribers. Yet they follow me and I'm like, wow, is there something I'm doing? Though I actually like the subject that actually matters to me. That's just it. What matters to me. Today, the only reason why I came here today is just to make sure, like, I promised you guys I was going to be coming live. And due to the challenges of network and we could not engage ourselves, I was like, rather than me disappointing, let me just come and chat with you guys to know what's going on. Let me rub mind. Creed says yes. Funny enough, I enjoyed today's conversation. The only thing is that what I would have loved to do was to, you know, sometimes make us have audio. Like, on bro, what do you think on the 666 ship? I don't know. I have no idea. I have no information on 666 ship. Sorry, Creed. Chip. Okay, chip. The one they put in the brain by Elon Musk. Are you talking about Elon Musk? Maybe you enlighten me on that. Rusty says, I also like to learn about countries. Let me shift it down elsewhere and how the civilians view life in general where they live. We can take whatever we want from Western media, but the people who live it say it best. Hmm. Pardon me, I have to screenshot that statement because it makes a lot of sense to me. It makes a lot of sense to me. Okay, Creed was saying, yes, sounds like a naughty chip. Rusty says it sounds like a naughty chip. Does it come with sauce? It's in the Bible. Joshua Rodriguez, I remember you. I don't think there's any of my audience that I don't just know. When any of you writes, I just know I've seen your name before. I might not remember our conversation, but I know I've seen your name before. Thanks for joining, Rodriguez. My idea on Creed, what Creed is talking about the cheap stuff, 66 cheap. I think at the end of the day, this is just my foolish part talking. No, don't take me serious. But this is my foolish part talking. I think as much as they are AI, we can remember at some point for us to make telephone, we have to walk to a particular distance to go put that thing on our head. We call it landline. Now we had a walking talk at a particular time that people can use and operate, and then phone and the rest of it. And now they are talking about enhancing brain, spine, and the rest of it. Now, when we look at the idea of the creation of this robotic system and AI, artificial intelligence, I think at some point, humans would merge with artificial intelligence or will merge with technology. That's what I think, maybe at some point. But looking at it from a religious standpoint, there are certain principles that religion can hold on to or what it can do, but the idea of 666, mark of the beasts, what is the worst thing that can happen to human being that has not happened right now? The fear of mankind because of religion at some point was because, oh, the world will be doomed. I could remember when Barack Obama signed, made gay legalized or legalized gay, and the world was shaking, and all the churches, I was still going to church at that particular time, and everybody was preaching that the world has come to an end. Very soon there will be mark of the beast 666 on our head. We cannot go anywhere without 666. Jesus Christ, I was terrified at that particular point. But look at today. Since that time till now, Fela Nicola Kokputi will say they bobo us. Okay, you both agree. If I get the 666 chip upside down, I will never forget our emergency service because it's 999. Let's be honest, bro. Some proper thick people out they could do with a brain upgrade. Yeah, myself. Jesus Christ. Oh no. There's something really interesting when I just look at the way Rusty plays around. Maybe there's a blessing to it. You might see, oh, there's a challenge, but there's a blessing to it. It's really funny. It's like you don't know how funny you sound when you say some things, Rusty. during that time, we felt the world would crumble. All we are expecting at that particular time, we were expecting a beast. Who would be the beast? Our mindset was like, after Barack Obama, there will be a beast that will come up. Right now, we are talking about Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. Maybe Kamala Harris will be the beast, because that lady ain't joking. Kamala Harris looked like... Well, you see, the idea that Jesus is coming the second time, and when he comes, you think the beast is coming? Let me ask you something. Church has been polluted completely. Churches, religion has been polluted completely. Let's not use the word completely. Let me rephrase my word. Majority of religion has been mesmerized. Majority. Now, the same church that was being established in some churches, like the Catholic, now they legalize having gay couple. These are the things that were the fear of religious institutions. Now these things are existing. Nobody is questioning it anymore. Now it has gotten to a part where people begin to dissect themselves. And Rusty can remember, maybe Creed was not part of the live video we made earlier, when we were talking about the idea that population are reducing. And I was saying that maybe part of it has to do with the alphabetical people. When I say alphabetical people, I mean the LGBTQ. Maybe it has inspired the fact that people don't want to have children and the rest of it. And when you ask yourself this question, if the world would have to collapse, it's not about Jesus coming. It's the fact that human beings will choose a path in life and they will start reducing in population till they wipe themselves off. Or they reduce in population and the population becomes so few that we restart again. We start something different, and a different colonization, a different nation, and the rest of it is going to come up after a period of time. Rusty says I get a brain upgrade and still be the most retarded. Oh. What you wrote here is not bad. You said, am I bad for saying Kamala Harris gives me a weird boner? Or do I not understand the meaning of boner? I don't know why YouTube engine is holding this particular statement. It's election season. It's election season. So trust me, the government knows what they are doing. Look at the whole big pharmacy. Yeah. So I don't think there's a beast coming from anywhere. We are the beast. Oh, I was about saying it and you just wrote it. They're doing the beast work. I was about saying it. Immediately I said it, your what do they call it? Your text came in, your chat came in. We are doing the work of the beast. Humans are the beasts. Humans are the angels. So I think sometimes we self-destruct as people. Rusty says, population reducing people. I am here, pants down and ready. Let's repopulate the world. Rusty is Mr. Noah. Oh, I hate all these things. Why? Oh, okay. No wonder YouTube held that statement. Sometimes, this is what you do. When you want to write a particular statement, I think what you can do is that rather than giving the original spelling, you can change something in the spelling. Like in Bonner, you can put Bonaar. But I wouldn't still understand. But it makes a lot of sense. If you do that, it wouldn't hold your message. I don't like when YouTube does something like this. It doesn't make sense. To me, we are just relating and talking. So everything is blah, 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 blah. They want to watch every single statement people say. Sometimes when you say something, they would, most times in on this YouTube stuff, they've held a lot of my funds, simply because, oh, I use this word, I say this word, I say this word, and sometimes I just get fed up. Sometimes I don't even bother myself. I just say whatever I want to say. If I get the money, if I don't get the money, some days I'll be fine. Creed says the devil is right in front of us. I think we are the devil. I think humans are the devil. I always make this statement that if okay, when is a British thing, I forget it's not universal. I think we are the devil. I think that I always say a statement that if I die today, I think I would first of all apologize to the devil the way humans have used his name to lie, excessive lies. Ranjit Gaikwad, welcome. He says, if there is any solution for the increasing sin in the world, then it can only be told by Osho. Ranjit. Okay, you're talking about the Osho, the one that talks like Sadhguru. This how do they call them? Osho should be dead by now, but I used to listen to his statement at some point. Rusty says the devil is in front of us, bro. An old lady is in front of me. Should I drop the devilish woman? Please don't do that. Not what I meant. Okay, Osho, Indian philosopher. Yes, it was the one I was actually talking about. Yes, it was an Indian philosopher. That guy messes with the brain of people in a sense, like when you ask him a question, it takes that question to a different dimension. And people are just like, oh, what's this man saying? But it makes a lot of sense, but people cannot comprehend everything. And the idea is this. In all these things I've learned about philosophers and the rest, it's that nothing is actually it. Everything is just delusion. You shouldn't relax or believe on something and surrender to one thing, because things change. When you look at it from the opposite direction, there's something good in it. You remember the Bible who says thou shalt not kill? When it was given the 10 commandments, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not lie. And then God told the people of the Israelites to go and destroy the people of the Philistine. How many times? Destroy the Egyptians, destroy this, destroy that. Thou shalt not kill. And God said it. I remembered at some point someone was saying a statement like, someone was making a statement and it says that The reason why God creates the people of Israelites is so that the people of the Israelites will defeat other people, other countries who are sinful countries. I look at the man, I shook my head. I say, so God wants to destroy every other country that are sinners, and you think that the only thing he can do is to create Israelites? And are the Israelites themselves, are they holy? The Israelites are not holy. So they are now destroying. They say they are fighting for the Lord. Who can fight for God? Philosophers waffle more than anyone else. Waffle chats shit. So there are certain statements that comes up. You said no one but God. I always say that I believe in the source of universe. I believe in the spiritual path. I believe in God, but our description of God is kind of different. Rusty says fighting for God is fighting against God. I absolutely agree to that. God do not need anyone to defend him. And sometimes we use the word him like we think he's a male. We can't use the word because we think he's a female. God is even if I give out my description of God, I think it doesn't make sense. But what I would say is this: an entity that does not embody either male or female genitalia cannot be either him or her. The concept that a lot of people have when it comes to the idea of God is that God is a him. And when you say the word God is a him, does it mean that he has a genitalia? So some people, during the time, what people respect so much, they always call, if they respect you or you're a landlord, they give you so much respect, they call you Lord. Women who are submissive to their husband, they call their husband Lord. So in the court system, they also say, hello, my Lord. So what do they call God? They say God is, how do they say? King of King and Lord of Lord. Lord of Lord simply means the Lord above every other Lord of humans. Then when they use the word King of King, before there was president, before there were senators, before there were governors, people have the concept that kings were the most powerful people. So they say King of Kings. It doesn't embody either anything of male or female. I think the universe exists, either we admit it or not. The source of creation exists, either we admit it or not. For the fact that I can breathe and you can breathe, I think there's a concept of God within every single one of us. So, like Ranjit Gaikwad says, everything is just an illusion. So much delusion in we holding on to things that we really cannot comprehend. Rajit Ramad also says that, okay, let me go back to what Creed says. Creed says God to holy and beyond anything. I agree. Earlier, I lived my life very well. I go to the shop and earn money. That's Ranjit Gaikwad. And run the house. But ever since I have heard Osho, I am not enjoying anything in life because I have come to know that everything is illusion. Even you, according to Rusty. But trust me, it is true. I can. And those of us who knows how to actually meditate, and when I say the word meditate, I'm not just talking about just a small meditation. I'm talking about deep meditation. Like Rusty, you spoke about DMT earlier. If If you take DMT, you would realize that everything you experience physically is just an illusion. Who is interpreting it? And why is it that our interpretations can never be correct, can never be absolutely correct? The reason is because there's perception. The cameras are, there are things the camera cannot, even the camera of your phone can only see me, cannot see anything beyond the third dimension. So whatever we do in life, if we understand that there's a spiritual sense that we can use in looking back to what we do, we most likely, regardless of whatever we are going through or our challenges, we wouldn't take them or put them on our head. This is how I see it. When you're asking if you are an illusion. Now, for the fact that you can imagine, imagination is an illusion. There is no certainty to what you imagine. There is a possibility, but it is not certain. And because it is not certain, it is not, you can't hold on to your imagination. And let me say this, a lot of women have been crumbled today due to the fact that they think that their illusion is real. They think they are very beautiful, and they'll say, I can't settle less for any man. I can't settle for any man. I know my pride as a woman. And you become so delusional in your head, and before you know, you think that you are going to get the best man in the world. You can see the result. So if our thought process can think about things that are delusional sometimes, when you look past at, okay, let's put it in this perspective, that you look past what has happened in the past, and you would realize that during that time you were acting, you were participating in certain things. Let us say this, there are wars or there are fights, there are issues you have had in the past, and when you look at it today, you would ask yourself, I wasn't seeing things very clearly during that time. If I had seen things clearly during that time, I would have made a different decision. The same way we are participating in things right now, in our reality right now, and we think we are very conscious. 20 years from now, we would look back at how we are living and how we communicate and the rest of it, and we will realize that there's something that we could have done better. And because we realize there's something that we could have done better, that makes this presence to be illusion. It means that we are not seeing the perfect areas of how we should view things at this particular time, because we are a little bit delusional somewhere. Rusty says, I imagine God is up here, there, pulling my strings like... Oh no. Rusty. Wait, are you an African person? Are you a Nigerian? I mean, entertainment. What else would he make me of all people? He solely knows. They didn't want me to see your message. Oh, I don't know who wrote the message. YouTube did not want me to see your message. But on a serious note, you are very funny. There are things that are beyond us that we don't understand. And for the fact that there are things we don't understand, that simply means there's something that is beyond us. And because there's something beyond us, that simply means that we are delusional in many things, regardless of the fact that we think we are living in the reality. 24 hours ago is now an illusion. When you look back to tomorrow, when you look back at yesterday, you can tell yourself, like, I could have done something different rather than the choice I make. There's always something to adjust. And because there's something to adjust, that means you are not absolutely correct. So that's how I see the idea of what Creed is actually talking about. Or was it Creed? Okay, Ranjit Gaikwad, what he was talking about when he used the word illusion, the illusion. Because some of us can understand that cats see different from us. So when cats see something different from us and cats can see better in other areas, then that means that who is correct in the way we see and who is correct in the way dogs see or how cat sees. And so which perception is actually true? And that's why we sometimes use the words, we say, my truth, your truth. One truth, principle, this. And it's simply because we all cannot see on the same angle. If life itself is not an illusion, all of us should have been able to see things in the same area or in the same way. Rusty said they're deleting me singing. Rusty says the truth is in the eye of the beholder, is what I heard growing up. And that's absolutely true. What you consider to be truth is part of what you experience. But the reality is that when you look at people today, some people don't even hold their own realities to be truth. Some people actually go ahead believing particularly some history books that they don't even know who wrote it. They hold it more serious. They become delusional. Ranjit Gaikwad says that each flower is an invitation, an appointment with God. Each song of the bird and each cloud floating in the sky is something like a message, a coded message. You have to decode it. It makes sense. You have to look deep into it. You have to be silent and listen to the message. There is no need even to close your eyes. Eyes closed or eyes open, you see him because he is within and without. I absolutely love what you said. As it says, Rajit, can I decode that message with Google? You can. But that particular statement, Ranjit guy quotes, maybe I think he paraphrased something from Osho, but that is absolutely true. There's message in everything. Yes. But here is it. There's a part of you that should be able to have knowledge, wisdom, and to be conscious that everything is not as real as you perceive it to be. And there's a part of you that should be able to enjoy life in a certain way. Sometimes you make decisions to be delusional. Look at the conversation we had today. We could have decided to talk about serious issues. Rusty would have, when we go into religion, he can talk about religion. In fact, we spoke about certain things on religion. We could talk about any subject. Can I retain the enlightened one? A lot of people we can discuss on certain subjects, but we decide at this particular moment to just take some time and just talk about anything. Today's Sunday. We just discussed about anything. And because we discussed about anything, we have been able to, this is just we playing with life. We are not supposed to take anything too serious. There are a lot of people that might get offended. Oh, maybe because when we are questioning Genesis, we were questioning this, and they will just take everything too serious. Why? Because they believe something they don't understand. We also read these things, but at the same time, we can decide to say, okay, let's come out of this particular belief system and let us just play with life. So the first thing about knowledge when you're learning things is that most things would not interest you. But as you grow in knowledge, you would realize that you can create your own playing field on earth here. And when you can do that, you are free from the society delusions or the society expectations of you. And you can flow according to what you can perceive within your spirit. That's how I see it. Wow. I think I've tried for the day. We have spent 2 hours. We have spent 2 hours. With that being said, those of us who haven't subscribed, please do subscribe to the channel. This is one of the best chats conversation I have with you guys. I am really grateful, Rajit Gaikwad, Rusty, Canary King, Creed, a lot of people. I appreciate you for joining. Joshua Rodriguez, I appreciate everyone who has participated in today's conversation. Please do not forget to support the channel, like and share, subscribe, join membership if you can. Let's see how this week goes because we have other things we are actually expecting. Okay. Peter says that there is neither Jew nor Gentile, neither slave nor free, nor is there male and female. For you are all one in Christ Jesus. That's Galatians 3, verse 28. Is that not? Wait, did you know Rusty before? Rusty says, when you follow the path of the trees and the birds, you will be led to a garden full of roses and baby lambs, and rejoice in the paradise you reside in. Rusty. I was trying to comprehend what you were saying until I see Rusty 2024 making up shit like the best. Oh, God. Wow. This is an amazing conversation we're having today. But time has gone. I have to do other things. Peter, you came late. I love this, your insight. I love this, your insight. I wish you were here and you and Rusty kind of go back and forth. It would have been so interesting. Your question is so funny, but you came a bit late. Please do subscribe. I know you have subscribed because for you to write, that means you have subscribed. Thank you everyone for joining me today. Please let us take our week serious. Let us kind of let us flow with life, and let us understand that we are building something regardless. Let us take our families serious. Let's take ourselves serious. I wish good health for every single one of us because it doesn't make sense seeing any of our brothers or sisters suffering. So let's take good care of ourselves. Let's relax today. Today is Sunday, God's day. God asked us to relax on Sabbath day. So let's just relax ourselves, enjoy the week while we walk Don't take everything too serious. Thank you for those of us who have joined me today. With that being said, we are going to be seeing by tomorrow evening. Adios, amigos. Thank you, Rusty. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye for now. Peace.